Hey y'all, it's Margo from Just Living Life. I just wanted to put a small introduction here because for some reason the beginning of my video is not there or got cut off. So I wanted to introduce myself, introduce our channel, and say that the video that you're getting ready to watch is about how to make a homemade fertilizer, your own indoor compost. And I hope you take the time to watch it and see what I'm talking about. I'm positive you will gain something from my video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you try it, please let me know in the comments and let me know how it works for you. Thanks for being here, and here we go. Own type of nutrients that it's almost like when you're feeding your own plants. I create my own nutrients just from my own household waste, so I don't have a place to be able to put a compost pile. So this for me is a way of doing it, making it where it doesn't smell or it doesn't for very long, and getting it so that I can feed my plants and still get the nutrients to them and still feel like I'm able to do this part in a smaller scale. So I usually take on my eggs and the coffee filters, and I just throw them in here, or I'll put the coffee filters on a pan and flip them up, let them dry, or flip them over, let them dry, scrape all the coffee grounds off of it, and then put them in here. So I have eggshells and regular food waste. I will usually put in a different container because it will make the smell a lot worse and a lot quicker. I had to clean it out when I got done, and I'm still going to be putting more in it, probably starting tomorrow or this evening. So for this, usually for the last 2 times that I've done this, I did coffee grounds, I did eggshells from my chicken and duck eggs, and I did potato skins. Now this time I actually have some vegetable soup. Doesn't it look lovely? Vegetable soup that we did not eat, that was in the refrigerator, and it was full, probably about here, so I had to drain a lot of the liquid out of it. A bunch of coffee grounds and a bunch of duck eggshells and some chicken eggshells, and I ground it down with my hands, really lovely. And I'm going to show you what I do as far as how I get it to go from this lovely mess to this dried powder, nutrient packed full, to be able to put on my plants to be able to help fertilize them. Now, being that this has more vegetables in it, it has peelings from some butternut squash plus that vegetable soup. I will probably have this dry and then mix it all up together and grind it again, because my process is put everything in my container. When it's ready to do it, I grind it down. Once I grind it till it's a real fine mixture, I put it on this pan here, just a regular cookie sheet. Had it for forever. I'll lay it on there, and depending on how much I have will depend on how thick the layer is. Now I have a wood stove, so I'll place it on the wood stove, and I just constantly stir it all day long. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 days, depending on how hot it is and how much we use the heat from the stove over those days. Now, the next couple days it's going to be chilly, so it'll probably get done quicker. Now, I'm sure that you can use your oven. I would use very low heat and just leave it in there. And stir it around once or twice an hour. Make sure that you're cooking out the moisture from it. Make sure you're cooking it down till it's a powder. And once it's a powder and all the moisture's out of it and it's done, then you'll put it back in here and you will grind it again more finely. And then you will have your mixture. You will have a very nutrient dense fertilizer that's homemade from your stuff. And instead of having to do it in a compost pile and heat it up that way, you're actually heating it up yourself as you're curing it or drying it. And then you're going to grind it up and use it as you need it. And you can have it in these convenient bottles, so that way if you don't need a lot, you don't have to make a lot. If you don't have a place to be able to do a compost pile, this will help make it where you can do compost without having to have that big place outside or having to deal with a lot of stink and smell. This one here has just a little bit of smell, just because the eggshells I've probably had in here for the last week or two. And after about a week, the eggshells start to have a little bit of a stink. So I'm going to load this up. I'm going to run this. And then after I have run it all through here, everything that's in this bowl, I'm going to put it on this pan and show you what it looks like when it's on this pan. And then show you after I put it on the wood stove. And then once it's dried, I will add that to this video as well and show you what it looks like once it's dried, and then once it's run back through here. So let me get this, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done grinding it all. I'll be right back. Now I know there's going to be some people that are going to want to know even more details. They're going to want to know, this doesn't look right? Okay. Well, this is what it looks like right now before I run it through my food processor. I'm going to run it through real quick, and then I'll be right back and show you what it looks like exactly when it's done before I put it on my pan. Okay, now I run it through once and it gets to looking real thick, stuck to the sides, so I will just take a fork. Yes, it looks kind of gross. It looks kind of weird. Well, so is fertilizer. And so is most of the fertilizers that we use. Alright, and now I'm going to take the last of it and put it on this pan. And I wanted to show you, move it around some. This is what it looks like. Get my fork real quick. It's a real thick. Mine this time is a little thick. Sometimes it's a little drier than others. If I'm able to dry the coffee grounds out more, or I put it all out on a pan and let it dry out a little bit, so that way the coffee grounds are dry and the eggshells are dried up more, then this will be a little bit drier. But anytime you add food particles to it, whether it's stew or potato peels or anything like that, any kind of food particles, it's going to be thick like this. So don't fill it any more than about halfway or so that you don't overwhelm your food processor. So I'm going to dump it out, and I will show you a little bit closer in 1 second. What a lot of food mixture this is. Alright, so let's see. Let's bring y'all down closer. See if y'all can see this. Alright. Looks just so lovely, doesn't it? Kind of almost looks like wet dog food or poop or just something really gross. Yeah. Definitely, it's, yeah. Yeah, it has a little bit of a weird smell to it. This is the max that I let myself get to. The rest of the time, I don't let it get to be that much. Usually I have that blue bucket, that's it. Sorry about that, y'all. I have that blue bucket, and that's it. As I fill it up, that's enough. This time I ended up having that white container full of the vegetable soup that we had made to stew and ended up with a whole lot more, so I needed to take care of. Alright, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it on the wood stove, and then I'm going to show you as I dry it out what I'm doing. It's simply as you just stirring it around, but I know some people like to see what it looks like, exactly what you're doing step by step. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you with me as I do it, and I'm going to go step by step, and I'm going to show you when I mix it, and then when it's finally dry, and I'll tell you what day it's dry. This is Sunday, and I think it's about 4 o'clock, or between 4 and 5. And I'll let you know how long it took on my wood stove, and it gets pretty hot sometimes. So it'll take even longer in a oven at a lower temperature, but you don't want it at a higher temperature, because then you're going to burn it on your pan. And what you're just trying to do is basically dry everything out. Now, if it's warm outside, then you can take this and put it outside and let it air dry. Mix it up as it goes, but fair warning, if you put it out, the birds are probably going to attack it, try to get to it, try to eat it, or any other animals that are outside. And for me, this is just my thinking, and I could be wrong in it, but homemade compost, when you're making it, is made in a pile that will superheat. And that's part of what gets the microbes going and causes it to be a better fertilizer for your plants as a plant food. That's my concept here. I could be wrong, but I'm going to take y'all along with me, and as I use it on my plants, we'll see how it does. It may help and it may not. If it doesn't help, then you'll know, don't do this. But if you have the same kind of thinking and think the way I do, then try this yourself. Feed your plants this. What's the worst going to happen? You're going to put a little bit of time into grinding it up and drying it, and then grinding it up again and putting it in a jar. If you don't have that time, then maybe you need a compost container outside, something small, something at a smaller scale. This for me is an experiment to be able to do something with household waste where I don't have the ability to have something outside to have compost bin or container. So I will let y'all know when I'm doing everything with it, and then when I'm done and I'm done grinding it, I think I'm going to mix it all up together, because those are just, like I said, eggshells, coffee grounds, and potato peelings. I'm going to mix them all up together so I have all of these nutrients together, and then put them in the glass jars to use them as I need them, which I'll probably actually start using them as soon as my seedlings are a little bit bigger. Probably in another week or two, and I might even use some of them on my onions and garlic that are outside now, because within a week or two I'm figuring they're going to need some hay, and they're also going to need some kind of fertilizer. So y'all come along with me. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all again here in just a little bit as I take care of this. Alright, y'all, and this has been on my wood stove since yesterday when I put it on here. It's I want to say it's about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll show you here how crunchy it is. I'm going to run it through my grinder again to make it a lot finer, and then I will get back with y'all in just a few minutes to show you what it looks like. Alright, so I run it through my the first amount that I put in here. I fill it up about halfway to 3/4, and you can see from the way it is. Let's put this to the side. Now, let y'all to see a lot better how fine it is. Now it's still warm from where it was on the stove and it's all dry. The thing I was worried about is if it was going to be dry enough. I'm going to run this all through the grinder, well, through my processor, if you want to call it. And then I'm going to mix those two in with this one, so all of the nutrients from all of it will be mixed in well, and then put them all in the containers. Excuse the coffee cups and butter. So they'll be ready to use on my plants for nutrients to start feeding them here very soon. And this is my own way of creating a dried compost, since I don't have the way to do it any other way. I'll show you what it looks like when I finally got everything done and mixed together. And there we go. Finely ground, dry, nutrient, plant food, compost. Done an alternative way. Try it, see if you like it, see if it helps your plants. And they're all going in these containers. And then let me know how it works for you. Just wanted to share this with you. This is a little something I do. Y'all have a good evening, good week, and bless y'all for now. Bye. Hey y'all, I just wanted to add a side note on about my dry composting. I found out, and you can learn from my mistakes, that when you're doing it in your home, if you're going to use your oven, if you're doing composting outside, you can use food scraps and put them into a compost pile, and it's outside and it's not going to smell or not as bad, and you're not going to have it in your house. But if you do this kind of composting, where you dry it yourself and grind it up so it's a fine nutrient feed for your plants, do not use any kind of vegetables that have started to go bad. If you can't heat it and dry it right away, if it's going to be a few days and they're going to start to get any gunk on them or start to smell, do not use them. They eat after you grind them and put them in the oven. It will make your whole house smell like bloody hell. I mean, just horrible. Don't make my mistake, y'all. If the vegetables are fresh and you do it that day or within a day or two and they're still fresh, the peelings or broccoli cuttings or anything like that, then fine, go ahead. It'll work just fine in your oven, just like it would on my wood stove. But don't make my mistake, y'all. I made that mistake, and it was an experiment to see if it would be okay. But my house, I had to leave my door open all day to air it out. And then I tried to dry the mixture, thinking that it would air out and the smell would go away, and it didn't. So, don't make my mistake. And I wanted to give y'all a little sneak peek on my babies. Just 1 second. These are what I call my little velociraptors. Look at my babies. We're getting ready to bring in one of the bigger cages, because even though they are getting their feathers in and they're going through that ugly chicken phase where their feathers are coming in and they're looking very disheveled, they are so cute. They do need a little bit more space so they can grow a little bit more feathers, even though it's going to be really pretty over the next week. I mean, look at that. Look at their colors, y'all. It's sort of hard to tell with the red light. I won't need the light as much. It is chillier outside today right now because there's cold wind blowing. So I'm going to leave the lamp here and then I raise it up and down from up there to down here, and last night I had it down here and they all were huddled up against it. But today I'm gonna have it up. It's supposed to be 65 or 70, but I wanted to share my little egg laying monsters that are starting to feather out. Aren't they just the most cutest thing in the world? And hopefully I'm getting ready to get some more eggs from a friend to hatch. They're going to be a colorful mix of eggs for chickens, ducks, and some turkey eggs. Now, ain't that going to be so cool? I wish I had room to put an emu. There's people that are selling emus right now, baby emus, and I would love to have one. Don't have the room yet, but I will soon. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. Y'all have a great day, and I hope y'all have a great week too, no matter when you see this. Bye for now.